First of all, thank you for being here. Nice to meet you. Thank you for taking the time and for sharing this little space with us. We are Metal Fusion from Argentina, South America. So welcome to this program. Luckily for me, my cat is sleeping right now, so he's not going to come and see what's going on here and say hi and all of that, because he loves to do that. And well, this time it's not going to happen. In the first place, congratulations for the new album. Your debut album, I have to tell. I heard the album already. I fell in love immediately with its musical roller coaster. This album,
thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you, man. And
no. Thank you.
This album like reminded me to the very first albums from Rhapsody of Fire, a little bit of Stratovarius, and so on. I mean, I'm not like comparing this beautiful creation with those bands. What I'm trying to say is you sound as powerful as those great musical legends, which is something super remarkable. I mean, it is a debut album. It's your first step as Timeless Fairytale. How do you see this first picture, like the first chapter of this Timeless Fairytale?
Yeah, I mean, that's not easy to answer, because we have to go back, because the whole Timeless Fairytale was kind of created from first of all from the mind of the Italian guitar player Luca Solito, who used to be actually a big fan of Royal Hunt in the beginning of his musical career. We had a lot of talks, online, because of this fantastic online system we now have. We didn't have that in the 80s or 90s. So I think you were asking about how is the first chapter of this Timeless Fairytale. I think that we are kind of proud that it happened, because we actually planned this already before the whole pandemic and the society was closed down and stuff like that. So actually to finish the album was fantastic. And for me and Luca and the other guys in the band to actually get it on the street was just a fantastic experience, and already now we have a lot of people who receiving it very well. So I mean, for us it's just fantastic. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So I don't know if you can call it a chapter, because we haven't planned a second or third or fourth album, but I think that with the whole reception of it, we're probably going to talk about making one more already within 1 year, I think. I have no idea. We haven't planned anything, but just so that you know that it's not just a one shot.
How did you get to know each other? Like, have you been in touch before this idea of creating this new band, or was it something totally out of your plans? Like, how did you take the decision of, okay, let's do this, let's see how it goes? And also here you can express your feelings, because is this a band or is some kind of project?
It's a band. The first answer, but it kind of I was, I've been talking to Luca Solito for a few years. I mean, I've known him like probably the last 15 years, not as a friend that I see every weekend or anything, but as an online friend. He invited me to sing as a kind of a collaboration with his singer in the band Stamina. I did some vocals on his earlier work. He invited me to Italy a few years ago to do some vocals on his solo album also. And then at that time when I was in Italy, I think it's about three years ago. Something. We had a talk in his apartment. We probably also had a few beers. I don't know, probably. So he asked me if I was interested in making a full album, and we kind of very fast saw the whole eye to eye thing. We talked about what kind of the music background, how's the sound going to be. I had a lot of expectations to when we make an album. I want it to sound like a great album. I don't just want to make a. So maybe that's also answering the other questions about the whole sound. That's very important for me. That when you want to release something, it needs to be great sound. And yeah, so we actually worked a lot on it. But the whole thing came together with after did some vocal work on his solo album. So yeah.
You found a very important label like VC Solom is working with All Noir, and they have a great audience, and that's something remarkable for your first album. I mean, you can reach a lot of people, and that's very important to say because that doesn't always happen, so I think that it's great for you to have this kind of support worldwide.
Yeah, I think they're doing a fantastic job, the company, and we actually also, I'm not going to brag on it, but we had the offers from other companies as well. But I think that's because of the history. I made albums before, in the 90s with Royal Hunt, and I made the Evil Masquerade. Luca had his stamina and stuff. So we're not like fresh out of high school making our first album. So we had kind of something that probably had some level of experience enough to get a very good deal with Sokolov Records, for instance. So we wanted a company who could also push the album a little bit out and had a good network and stuff like that. We didn't just want to make money, So it was very important for us also to get heard and to get the album out in the world.
And here you are, my friend. Like you are talking to South America. Like
exactly.
Have you ever thought of doing something like this, like getting so far with your music?
Actually, when I first started in the music industry, we didn't have the internet as the same way we have now. We had to write letters, send it by mail. So you can imagine how slowly the process was. I mean, the album was probably out in South America, but we never knew it because it was very slowly. Now you can talk to a metal fusion in Argentina, and there's not even a delay on our microphones. So it's really fantastic, and I appreciate it a lot that you want to talk to some of us. So, but I'm just I think it's a fantastic thing because in the beginning of the 90s. We made very few interviews, especially we made 0 with South America, just to kind of compare it. So I think it's fantastic to also because it's not a very big genre. We're not Madonna or anything, or Taylor Swift or something. So we have to really cherish the metal crowd, if so to speak. And they can actually be from anywhere. You could be in Timbuktu, and you can be in Argentina, you can be in Japan, or you can be in Sweden and Norway. But you still have a very, very interesting community going on because people actually talk. They don't see borders. They don't see stuff like that. So when you make an album and you sell thousands of records, it could be in the whole world. In the 90s, we sold thousands in one country. So I think it's fantastic.
Yes, and the truth is that Argentina is very famous for our crazy crowd. I don't know if you ever watched some live video from Argentina, maybe AC/DC live at River Plate Stadium in 2011, I think. And well, people wanted to cancel or maybe close the stadium because we provoked some kind of earthquake or something like that. Like they were saying that we were too loud. So well, that's the real thing, and I think that it's very important for you to have this kind of support because Argentinian metal fans are so passionate and so like true with their feelings, and just because we don't have heavy metal concerts here very often, and also heavy metal festivals like Wacken, like Masters of Rock, and all of that. And when we have that, when we get the opportunity to be at a heavy metal concert, for us it's like the biggest prize. I don't know, it feels like that. So I think that it's important for you to be here right now because you can reach the Argentinian crowd, not only Argentina, but also the rest of Latin America, because our website is out for all Latin America. So it's very cool for you to have this kind of support. So I am here for you, and just in case you need it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Now, getting back to the album, I have to say that it's full of different layers, very symphonic, something that I really love. And I have to underline that every instrument here sounds perfect. There's a really good balance in volume and strength. For example, the first song has this magical keyboard, like driving the song as a perfect leader. And my question would be, what can you share about the musical inspirations for this new album? Because just like I said, this album sounds like a big mix of so many different bands that I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the inspiration comes from the whole era of like that kind of symphonic, melodic, neoclassical metal genre. That, I mean, I can mention a lot of bands, you know, all the way back from, you know, in the Malmsteen anymore, stuff like that, even Royal Hunt and stuff. So, and each individual in the band has also their kind of preferences. I just love, you know, the early hard rock, like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, stuff like that. You know, the whole beginning and the new wave of British heavy metal was. I was doing like this every weekend. So I think the influence kind of, I think it reflects a little every time you make an album. You want to reflect the whole your whole background as a musician, but also as a listener, because I mean, if every musician is also a listener, you know, I also go to rock concerts as often as I can. So I mean, I hope that someone comes to me and say, oh, I can hear a little bit of some band in that kind of way you're singing, or that kind of. So I mean, I just love to hear that, because they're actually true. I'm not trying to copy anyone, but I hope that when you listen to someone who sings fantastic. When I was young, I tried to listen to sound like them, you know, even though it was very difficult at that time. But I mean, we're all just a part of a big kind of soup, you know. So
exactly.
But,
yeah. In my case, I took the album and I gave it at least 4 shots. For now, like I heard it for the first time when the label sent it to me, and I heard it a second time for my review, a third time for making this interview, and a fourth time before this little conversation. So 4 times now, and every time that I hear this album, I discover something different, and that it's very cool. And I have to say that I'm a voices kind of lover, and that's because I am a classical singer in training. So I try to have this kind of clinical but also critical eye, but in a good way, of course.
Yeah.
And your voice has a lot of nuances, and just like all the songs on this album, your voice is a huge mix of different type of voices. I mean, when I hear your voice, I can hear some 80s vibes with those harmonies dancing in the chorus, especially in Master of Illusion, for example. Super catchy song. It could be played during an evil circus type of spectacle, so to say. But this doesn't mean that you don't have like some modern touches. I mean, for me, your voice sounds like super easy listening, but also hyper strong and powerful. How would you explain this kind of vocal ornamentation, and how does this work for you? How do you decide which type of voice is the right one for a song?
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you. You know, I think if I have to go a little bit back, because you know, in the 90s there was a lot of the singers that I was also influenced by, and you know, was singing in the bands. They were very high pitched. You know, it was like they almost had a competition on, who can sing the highest. And then the singers like the one from the Skid Row singer, he could do whatever, you were like, when you listen to it, you had to probably shouldn't sing and go, but you had some fantastic singers, but the whole they kind of aspire to sing as high as possible. So I try to take it the other way, because I can sing I can sing low, I can sing as high as I can, not like steel hard or anything, but I can sing pretty okay high. I can sing medium. But for me, it's very important to when I start a new song, to find the expression of this song. So it doesn't have to be beautiful the whole time, because you're also telling a story. The whole title, story to tell. So if you think of a singer as a storyteller instead of just a singer, because that's easy, just to do notes. So when I get some music, wait for me, and a melody line, sing this, I use a lot of energy in finding the right expression, because maybe I shouldn't sing as much in this particular song as the other guys wanted me to do. So I said, yeah, but this is about explaining, this is about telling a story, this is about me as a singer being able to also express myself as a singer. Not just the lyrics or the melody. This is also trying to kind of spill your heart out. You can't do that on every song, because it would be impossible to listen to. But I think that it's very important to find the nerve, or the kind of the expression. I think I use that a lot also when we were recording. Sometimes we were finished with the song, and then I said we have to do it over, because I didn't find the right expression, and then we did it again. So I'm very grateful that you could actually hear that from only 4 times listening to the album, because we actually spent some time on the expressions. Maybe we should have spent some more time on singing it 10 more times or whatever. But for me, the expression was very important.
Yes, and here I have to say 2 things. In the first place, I had to ask this question because, in my case, I'm a classical singer, and I can't sing like telling a story or wanting to tell a story, because classical singers are always like paying attention to this to the technique, and everything must sound like perfect in some way. So you don't have time to think I don't know about what the song is talking about or something like that. You just have to sing, and it has to be perfect. Like classical singing is just that, but in your case, it's something completely different. Like every singer has a different kind of mechanism for doing this. And in the second place, I have to underline one thing that you said, that sometimes you don't sing high just because you can. In fact, the other day I heard this phrase from Empu Vorinen, the guitarist from Nightwish, and he said, I don't know if this has to do with the age, but like this feeling of show off has been diminished, like more and more with the time, and now you just want to do justice to the song and the story that you want to tell. And this is the second time that I heard this phrase coming from a musician, so it must be true, actually.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's not a competition, it's not about playing fastest solo or anything. It's about what is making justice for the whole story of the song or whatever. I'm pretty sure that when you make a full album, people can hear if you can sing or can't sing, or you can play or you can't play. You don't have to do 1,000 miles an hour on every song, so I think that also it has also to do with age. I'm not like 22 anymore. I've been around for some time, because when I was 22, it was all about doing the whole all the time. Also very lack of confidence in just breathing on an album could be fantastic. You know, just that can actually tell a lot of story just by, you can hear singers like David Corder. He had a whole career just breathing on the albums. Like, so it's it is, for me, it's more important to have the expression than to have the whole, how high notes I can sing, because eventually I can't sing that high anymore, you know, 10 or 20 years from now, you know, it will be all natural. So
now,
I'm happy to hear that.
No, but please don't say that. I mean, you sound great, buddy. I mean,
thank you, yeah, thank you.
I could hear some high notes, very high notes on this album. So I think that you can sing like that still. So, but every song is the result of a powerful mix of talent and a lot of inspiration coming from different places. And this album gave me the vibes of a conceptual frame, which is this story that you want to tell. But just because I don't have the lyrics yet, I would like to ask you, what's the story that you want to tell with this album? Because this album has 2 tracks, opening and closing the cycle. So for me, it sounds like a concept album, but I don't know if I'm walking the right path.
It's all about the fairy tale, actually, you know, the story. Each songs, you know, I've heard this once before, you know, is it a concept because you have the intro and the outro kind of, so you want it to be connected, but it's not like every song has a connection.
Exactly.
Other than it's about telling the story also, that you should continue working, you know, continue fighting, continue living, continue doing stuff like that. But it's not like it's not like opening a book and then intro and then finish. It's not like a story that kind of stick together.
Okay.
But it sure do look like it.
Yeah, maybe it's more a thematic album, maybe not a conceptual one. Maybe it's just that, but well, everybody has like different like interpretation of music. But why did you choose A Story to Tell as the title of the album? I mean, there's a song which has the same title, of course, and it's the most powerful and meaningful song of this album. I have to say that. But would you like to explain a little bit more about the process of picking the album's title? Like, did you have some other names floating on the surface?
No, I mean, as soon as we chose the Timeless Fairytale, we were already in that fairy tale kind of environment. So the story to tell, when that song came up, it was a natural pick to call it The Story to Tell, because we felt like we had a story to tell, like a fairy tale, or we wanted to make kind of things stick together a little. Me and Luca had deep conversations about the whole title and the whole thing, but we didn't have to, because we kind of agreed from the beginning about the title. And I'm happy that you like the title track, because it's also one of my favorites. It was one of the songs that I enjoyed singing the most, actually, because it took some energy from me too.
It's like the climax on the album, like the highest moment. I just felt that way. I don't know, but now I have maybe the most religious question of all times. How was the songwriting process for this album? Like, how does this work for you guys?
Yeah, but the whole music. The music, you can blame that on Luca, you know, the Italian guitarist. He's like the genius in writing music. It's like you can't leave him for 5 minutes, then he's writing a new song. So some people are like that. So he's really kind of productive in writing. He also wrote for his whole solo album. He had a band called Stamina. He was the sole writer for those bands. And he is also the main writer for the whole lyrics part. I've been only we've been sparring a little, saying this this will work better, and this will, if I want to express something, you need to change things. But he's the mastermind behind the whole lyric universe and music.
Right. As you can see, I didn't ask that much about every song of the album because there are two reasons for that. The first one is I did my review for this album. So guys, you can go to Metal Fusion on Instagram and you can take a look at my thoughts and feelings about this beautiful record. I won't spoil that much. And the second reason is because I want to try to keep the hype going until the release date. I think that this album deserves to be heard from the very first song to the last song with your ears, heart, and soul. Like, it was a beautiful surprise for me when I heard it for the first time, and I hope it will be a surprise for the rest of the world too. But there is something that I would like to know, and it's the story behind the track number 7 called The Best Part of Your Life. This is my favorite song of this album. And the pattern of melodies here is burning like hell. And we can hear your voice doing a lot of crazy stuff on this track. And I need to know something about the background of this amazing masterpiece.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of. I didn't kind of take the songs apart in that, you know, I was when we were recording it, we recorded it in a beautiful mountain studio in Italy. You know, when I did my vocals. So when we entered the studio, I had some personal thoughts about every song, how to express them and stuff like that. I didn't put more energy into one song more than another. I was kind of trying to, like the warm or small children, I tried to give them each a little bit of candy. So, but the best part of my life was it was one of those songs where maybe I could use my voice a little bit more than on the other songs. As you were talking about, this is one of your favorite songs. I think that my heart was more open on the title track, but my vocal skills were probably more used on a song like Best Part of Our Lives, stuff like that. But I think in every song you can find something that is not just a walk, or this is actually not so easy to do for vocalists. You have to do some special noises or special sound, special distortion on your voice, or special emotion to sing it, or so every song has some kind of special thing. So I can't just take one song out and say this is a very special song. I think they're all very special.
Yeah,
I'm more interested in saying how will this be received from other people, and to hear you pin out this one song was, well, now I'm going to listen to it after our talk here, just see how come he liked that song more than the others. So it's actually very interesting for me also to hear you say like that.
Maybe you should like take the album and give it a shot. You should listen to the album right now.
Yeah, but I've heard it a lot. I'm telling you. So yeah, I've heard it a lot.
The Last Chance, another powerful, catchy song with beautiful harmonies that I can't get out of my head. Closer to the end of the song, there's a very cool rhythm section, some little changes going on there. And the question would be, how did you manage to create pieces like this one? Because they seem to be like very simple, but they're not. And how do you decide which sections or instruments are going to be part of a song? And is there any kind of secret, or how does this work for you?
You know, I think that when you first make songs, I mean, it doesn't matter what genre. I think you make kind of small demos, small parts of the whole thing. You probably send it to the other guys. What do you think about this part? What do you think about this? And then you find out when you start recording. For instance, you send the whole thing to the drummer. He do his drum things just for instance. And then when he comes back from the drummer, he kind of he took one of the songs and took it to higher level because of some written things, maybe some small changes you hadn't thought about yourself. So that inspires the bass player to do something else, maybe, or the guitar player wants to do the whole new recording. So actually, it's also kind of a collaboration. Once you hear the other guys play the things, you get inspired to. Oh, I also want to do this one more time. I want to do a new guitar thing, or I want to do a new bass part. Or I also, when I heard the final result, I said I want to do this chorus one more time, or I want to change something. So as soon as you start working like more focused on making the album finished, you get the right drum tracks, you get the right bass traction, you get even more inspired, especially at the end. So I think that, yeah, that's kind of a way to put it, that as a band you inspire each other. So I have no idea how we found out about that rhythm thing. It could be the drummer, or it could be the bass player, or
Yes, I was listening to the song, and just like closer to the end of the song, I was like, what the hell is happening right here? Like, everything was so, like, I don't know, very stable, so to say.
Yeah.
And just closer to the end of the song, everything, I don't know, this destroys itself, and what's going on? But well, now I would like to go maybe into a more personal background. Like, what's the music that inspires you the most? What's your musical background? Is there any vocalist out there who inspired you to be a singer?
Yeah, but I was I grew up in the 80s listening to bands like AC/DC, one of my first bands in the 80s. I listened to Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, all the whole kind of 80s wave of heavy metal and rock.
The biggest monsters.
Yeah. The big ones, if you can say so. But then you hear singers like Ian Gillan from Deep Purple. I was blown away, when I heard him sing. When I heard the first record I heard with the Led Zeppelin, I was like, oh, it's impossible that someone can sing like this. But then once you get you try to do the same things as they do when you want to be a singer and you're 18 years old or 17. Yeah. And then suddenly you also meet other singers. I remember my first time when I heard the Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force with Jeff Scott Soto. I was like, is there really a singer who can sound this great as this guy? I was like blown away. So I'm not even like genre made. I just love like Chris Cornell was a great singer. There's a lot of singers out there. The Green Stripe singer Geoff Tate was a fantastic singer. I love the old Saxon stuff, but not like just one singer that inspired me. I was trying to kind of listening to as many singers as possible. For some reason, they all not just easy to copy. It's
exactly.
Yeah. So
that was going to be my next question, because I don't know, every singer, I think that when you start studying music or singing, maybe I don't know, you try to copy I don't know, another singer, another singing style or something like that, until you find your own voice and your own way of singing, or maybe interpretation or something like that. But at the very first moment, we all try to, I don't know, to do something similar to that the other singer can do. So I think that it's very common.
we all do that.
Do you like to sing some other stuff like jazz, classical music, something out of heavy metal world?
I'm not, I don't think that I would be sufficient enough to do jazz. So, I just, one of the greatest in the world is for me, it's still Elvis Presley. He's a blues guy. He's a bluesy, jazzy, whatever you put the whole thing in that. So when I listen to that very old stuff, like old blues, old jazz, I think they're fantastic. I have a poster with Miles Davis here on my wall in my living room. So I'm very inspired by many musical styles, not just heavy metal. I just ended up in metal because it was kind of, it was kicking me, in the heart for my first concerts. I was like, I want this feeling again and again. You can't get that same from jazz, but you can get something else. As a singer, I don't know if I would be the right one to do that. It would be fantastic to try out, but it's only been very minimal where I kind of flirted with other genres. Didn't really happen for me. But I like more plain rock. You could take American bands like the old stuff, like Lynyrd Skynyrd, stuff like that. It's something that I actually enjoy listening to it. I also enjoy trying to sing some of those songs also because they're more like maybe country or, influenced bluesy country stuff like that. I love to sing things like that. But I always end up making a neoclassical album again, so, you also, sometimes you just end up at a show where you kind of maybe fit best. I don't know. But I would love to make something else one day.
Well, maybe you can try now while taking a shower, maybe.
I can sing anything in the shower. Yeah.
I think that we all do that.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning to go on tour with this new record? Like maybe giving a few shows? Would you be able to make some plans for another countries? Like, well, you have South America now as an option, and maybe I can help. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. What can you tell us about maybe a tour or something like that?
So far, we haven't planned touring, but we have a little bit of an obstacle here because the bass player and the guitar player, they live in Italy, and the drummer lives in Sweden, which is very close to Denmark also. So we kind of, in each hour end of Europe, it's not so easy just to meet up and rehearse. So, but we did talk about this. We talked about maybe next year we could be interested for some small festivals around Europe, maybe. But I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen, because if this record will be very well received, it would be stupid not to follow it up with some kind of touring and with some other bands. So
I'll give everything to make, I don't know, right promotion of this album, because I think that you deserve it, guys. You made a beautiful record, and it is amazing. I think that everything that you put into this record, like sweat, blood, and tears, you can sense it, you can feel it, and you can hear it on every song. So congratulations, and thank you for this amazing record. And thank you for sharing this with the entire world, because today, I don't know, if you see the environment, like everything that surrounds us, a lot of bad stuff is happening in this world. And
yeah,
I don't know, I think that every one of us need to find something healing and something, I don't know, that might be helpful in these times. So this music, this record, the songs on this album are just like that. So congratulations and cheers to the whole band for this amazing album.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I mean, it means a lot to us also that you sit in Argentina and actually promote our album. We are very grateful. Thank you very much. It's just amazing. We really hope that people all around the world, they kind of embrace this album, even if they love it or hate it. I mean, just anything, we just want people to kind of give it a shot. And then
I hope that this works for you guys. And it was a real pleasure for me to talk to you and to meet you. Maybe not in person, but you are just right there.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, very close.
The pleasure was mine. I'm telling you, thank you very much. Thank you for taking your time to give us this chance to also promote our. Thank you very much.
Obviously, you can talk to me whenever you want it, whenever you need it. And every time that you have an album out, or maybe before the album comes out, you just need to talk to me and I'll do whatever is in my hands to help you. So now I can let you go. You can keep doing your stuff and see you next time. And thank you one more time for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much it was very nice to meet you. I hope to see you again. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hope to see you again too.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.